Hi, everybody. Hard to believe we are entering our final week. Like myself, I'm sure you're all looking forward to some time to decompress. Last week, we studied the aggregate demand, aggregate supply model. Good job there, including the group discussion. Some highlights from the group discussion, which again was focused on what are some potential causes of a recession, especially in a developed country. First, as expected, the coronavirus was mentioned quite a bit. More generally, a pandemic being a good example for a source of a recession. Before moving on to some of the highlights in the different groups, I just want to point out that it is important to distinguish between the cause of a recession and a symptom of a recession. For example, typically we would think of rising unemployment rates as a symptom of a recession, not necessarily the underlying cause itself. Anyways, on to some of the highlights. Really nice point made in group 1 where the coronavirus was mentioned, but I really like the point made about excessive household debt as being a potential cause for a recession. This was really key for the Great Recession of 2008-2009. Input costs and oil price spikes were also mentioned as potential causes in Group 1. In Group 2, input prices came up again, as well as potential foreign influences, and interest rates and their impact on the economy was mentioned as a potential cause of recession in Group 2. Lack of confidence, while perhaps not the cause, a key reason a recession can be prolonged. I think this was a nice point that Group 2 made. I was pleased where once again household debt being excessive came up in Group 3. The pandemic was mentioned there once again, and the associated loss in confidence in markets as a whole. In Group 4, failure of big businesses I really liked as an example for a potential catalyst for a recession, the potential contagion associated with a major business failure and the associated lacking confidence that we would expect. Asset bubbles, I was happy to see mentioned in Group 4's discussion. Really nice comment made in Group 5 about how it's really not just one thing, but in general, financial, psychological, and real factors are all at play and interconnected with respect to causes and how sustained and deep a recession could be. And in Group 6, there was a nice job connecting the question to what might cause aggregate demand to shift left. The magnitude and severity of the current situation with respect to the coronavirus outbreak was highlighted in Group 6, which I appreciated. This is important to recognize. We really are living through quite extraordinary times, very much so economically, where it's still a little early to get a sense of measurement because we just don't have the data quite yet. But unemployment rates are no doubt going to be nearing levels that we haven't seen since the Great Depression. In my opinion, no doubt the statistics will indicate that the economic contraction currently is far more severe than the Great Recession. The question, of course, is going to be how long does it take to recover? I don't think anyone has a great answer to this question. In my personal opinion, it's not going to be instantaneous. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, this week we're discussing monetary and fiscal policy, both very relevant for the current economic situation. No problem set, hooray. There is still a group discussion question and response posts, but those response posts are now due on Friday. We have our final exam next week. I'll send some more info about this later on in the week, but just for now I'll mention the final will take place on Monday, May 11th. You will be able to take it at any time you like during Monday, May 11th. However, once you open the final, like our last exam, you'll have 3 hours to complete it. like our last exam, format will be the same and open book, open note. That's about it for now. Again, I will send another announcement later this week about the final and just kind of wrapping things up for the course. As always, let me know if you have any questions. Stay well. See you online.